What's up guys, and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be doing another tier list. I'm going to be ranking all of the armor in Grounded. Before we get started, I know what you're thinking. God damn, you look good today. And I just wanted to give a big shout out to Kermit, aka KC Dizzle, who actually contacted me via DMs on Twitter and gave me this camera. I know, extremely generous thing to do, and you can thank him for why I look so goddamn good in future videos. Huge shout out to him. Without further ado, let's get started. Today, we're doing an armor tier list. So, we're going to be starting with tier 1 armor and then going the way down. The way we're going to rank this, I'm going to be comparing the armors that are all the same tier. So, if I put the Acorn armor in A tier and a tier 3 piece of armor in D tier, obviously, it doesn't mean the Acorn armor is better than that tier 3 piece of armor. It's just better than other tier 1 pieces of armor. So, I'm basically comparing them within their tier. And then, obviously, comparing them on things like their effects, their defense, how useful I think they are, those sort of things. And we're going to be giving them all a ranking in the game. First off, we've got the Fynnflops and the Fynnflops Plus. I'm going to put these in D tier. I never use these. They just lower your defense. You don't need the extra speed underwater. You can just use a gill tube for extra oxygen, a bubble helmet for extra oxygen. You can use a meal if you need it. You don't need these Fynnflops. Their effects are just to swim faster. They're not that good. I don't rate them at all. They don't give you enough defense. They're just a way to make you die more underwater. Just wear regular armor. Not worth it. Next, we have the Aphid Slippers. Or Aphid. Some people hate the fact that I pronounce it Aphid, but, you know, it's funny. I'm going to put these A tier. They're really good for getting around the map, but you're not going to use them in a fight. You know what I mean? You just use them so that you can run around the map quickly. They are good, though. If you're, like, really late game and you're really good at the game, you just want to zip around quickly, they're good to use, but Natural Explorer is so good now, you don't even need these, honestly. Next, we've got the Gas Mask. I'm going to put this in B tier, I think. It's good if you go into the haze, you need it, obviously. It's one of those ones that you need if you're going to certain portions of the map, but it's just not great. Yet again, I don't really use it much. Its sleek bonus is the explosive resistance, which is alright against explosive enemies, but why would you use a gas mask against explosive enemies? Just use some regular armor, you know what I mean? So for me, it's a bit of a B tier. It's still alright, you need it for the haze, it's good to fight stink bugs, it does have its uses, but it's not perfect. Next, we have the Gill Tube. I'm gonna put this in, I guess, C tier. It's not good armor, but I guess I put it in with the Gas Mask. They have to go in the same tier, right? They both go B tier. They're not useful. You're not going to use them everywhere else. But they're good if you're just chilling and you need to go underwater. You take the Gill Tube. It gives you a bit of extra oxygen. I think it doubles your time from 40 seconds to 80 seconds. It's all right. The Sleek bonus just gives you hyper stamina, which isn't great, but it's not the best for protection either. It is what it is. Next, we've got the Might Hat. I'm going to put the Might Hat in C. I think I've used this like once. It's just good at recovering stamina quicker. Its sleek bonus is negative stamina regen delay, so you recover your stamina faster. I don't really feel a need to use this, to be honest. It's not great. I don't see the point in using it. I'll just use a regular piece of armor that has more defense if I'm looking to survive. Next, we have the Eye Patch. I'm going to put this in B tier. This one makes you take more... Actually, no. It's D tier. You take 25% more damage, but you deal 10% more damage. It's pointless. You're just taking way more damage and dealing slightly more. I don't see the point. The sleek upgrade for this makes it so enemies are less likely to attack you. I can see maybe in a multiplayer, someone using Acorn armor to get major threat so that the people with the Acorn armor get attacked and the guys with the Eye Patch can do all the damage in the background without getting any attacks from any of the enemies. Could be a bit of a strategy there. But personally, I'm going to have to put it in D tier. It's just not worth the trade-off. Acorn armor. When it comes to tier 1 armors, Acorn armor's S tier, isn't it? Realistically, it is the best tier 1 armor in the game. There's just no debate. I mean, when it comes to effects, the peace effect is major threat, which means things are more likely to target you. If you're playing single player, this doesn't matter at all, because they can only target you anyway. There's nothing else for them to target. The sleek effect of this is the max health, which is pretty good, to be honest. It gives you extra health. But the chances of you upgrading this to sleek are very slim because it's such an early game armor. Usually you get rid of it before you upgrade it to sleek. Its set bonus is uncrackable, which increases your total stun amount by 15. It's also a heavy armor, which reduces damage by 35%, but increases your stamina usage by 25%. But honestly, the 30% damage reduction does it way more for me, and this has to be an S tier armor because of it. In terms of tier 1 armors, this is the best. You know what I mean? It's the best. Red Ant armor, guess maybe a B. Oh my god. The Saudis are winning! Why have Saudi Arabia just gone 2-1 up then? Oh my god. Actually, no. I'm going to put the Red Ant armor in an A. This is because you can use it for building. It gives you 3 extra hauling strength. You can use it to go into the Red Ant nest without getting attacked, which is really good. It increases your grass harvest speed if you sleek effect it, so it's good for just farming resources. Yeah, this armor's pretty good. It's a light armor. I wouldn't really use it around the yard for surviving, but I'd use it if you're going to the Red Ant nest and you don't want to fight the ants. I'd use it if you are just building. It's one of those sets of armor that's really good for building. I don't do too much building, but those who do probably know that this is a really good set to have. So that's why it's A tier. Not really good in terms of going around the yard, but definitely a good set for a builder. Next, we have the Clover armor. This armor, with its peace effect, it makes you more full, so you have to eat less regularly. With a set bonus effect, you have to drink less regularly. And the sleek effect, it gives you more regeneration. I'm going to put this in a B tier. I never use this armor. I always just go straight for Acorn. It's alright. It's a light armor, so you do take a bit of damage using it. But, you know, it's alright. It's really cheap to craft if you're really struggling with certain parts of the game. You can get it early on. It's got a few bonuses. It could be good in woe mode if you're trying not to starve to death or die of thirst. But personally, I'm not really a fan of it. So, that's all the tier 1 stuff done. Let's move on to tier 2 sets of armor. We've got the Marksman Cap first. This is going to be a D tier for me. I don't use ranged or bows at all. Actually, I'll put it in C. It has some good effects. I don't use it, but I know some people like it. It's going to go C for me, though. I'm not a bow person. You already know this. We've got the bubble helmet. I'm going to put this in... I'm going to put it in B. Like, it's got to go alongside the gill tube. It's got good utility, but I never use it in the game, to be honest. I always just use the gill tube. I never feel the need to use the bubble helmet. Firefly headlamp's a D. There's no debate there, really, is there? It's pebble harvest speed and it has a light. Like, it's just not good. I never use it. I can understand some people might use it, but why? What are you doing? Just bring an ever charcoal torch, man. Come on. Oh, I missed the grub armor. God damn, how did I miss that? There's one more set of, you're all screaming at me saying there's one more set of tier 1 armor you missed. And now I realise there is a set of tier 1 armor we missed. We've got the grub armor. This is a really stamina-heavy armor. It increases your max stamina, gives you hyper stamina with the sleek effect, and it also reduces the time it takes to recover stamina. It's a medium set of armor, so it definitely can't go below the Clover. I'm probably going to put this in A tier. It's definitely better than the Clover armor, but I don't think it's as good as the Acorn armor. It's got decent defense levels, kind of annoying to get with how annoying the grub hides are to get, but I can understand that it's a pretty good set of armor. Next, we have the Black Ant armor. Oof. It's going to have to go C tier for me, I'm sorry. This used to be decent, but critting is so bad in the game now, and this set of armor relies extremely heavily on critting. It just isn't worth it. The set bonus of this armor is called Pin Cushion, and it reflects 50% of the damage you take back to enemies. This isn't great either, because if you're not taking a lot of damage, then the set bonus is pretty useless. So, C tier, because it's mostly focused on crits, and crits aren't as good as they used to be. Next, we've got the B armor. This is going to be C tier for me as well, because as I've said multiple times, I don't like to use ranged things. And this is a ranged thing. It's all to do with ranged attacks, and bow stun, and slowing down your enemies, and pollen shot is the set bonus. So, for me, it's a C tier. I don't like ranged. That's just my opinion, okay? I know some people like bows and might be saying, yo, this is amazing if you're using a bow. I don't use a bow. So, tough. Next, we've got the Koi armor. I'm going to put this in A, purely because it's really good if you're trying to learn to perfect block. It increases your perfect block window, it increases parry stun, and if you do perfect block, it decreases enemy defense by 20% for 10 seconds if you have the full set on. It's a really good set of armor for learning to perfect block. The defense isn't great, but if you're struggling with perfect blocking, this can help a lot. I definitely recommend it. Next, we have the Ladybug armor. I don't even need to say anything here, do I? It's S tier. It's the best tier 2 set of armor, not even a debate. It increases your blocking strength, the healing that you do, and the Scarlet Embrace makes it when you perfect block you heal as well. This thing's amazing. It's just an S tier armor. It has really high defense. It's another heavy set of armor. You'll see a theme here. Heavy armors I typically put in S because they're really, really good. It also has really good effects though, which is another reason. Next, we're going to go with the spider armor. I'm going to have to put this in B tier, I think. It's good for recovering your stamina. You recover stamina much quicker with it. But it increases poison damage as its sleek effect. Like, that's only good if you're using poisonous weapons, like a dagger. With certain builds, it can be good, but running around the map, it isn't great in my opinion. It's good, but it's not great, you know what I mean? I'd rather use Koi scale armor, to be honest, but that's just my opinion. Now we're on to tier 3 armors, assuming I haven't missed any tier 2s, which it doesn't look like I have. Perfect. Starting with the singular pieces of armor, we have the wizard's hat. I'm going to put this in B tier. I don't mind using the staffs for killing some things, like the moths, and this thing is pretty good if you're using a staff. It increases your defense, and it makes it so that when you parry, your staff does 40% more damage for 10 seconds. So this thing is pretty good. If you're using a staff, I do recommend using it, but I only really use staffs to take on moths. So that's why it's going to go here. I'm not a big staff user. Next, we have the fluffy pupa hat. This has to go in A tier, I think, with the red ant armor, purely because of the hauling strength buff. It's a really, really good hat if you're a builder. I wouldn't really recommend it running around the yard and fighting stuff. This is more of a builder's hat, you know, so it's going to have to go A for that. It's got really good utility to it. Next, we have the Mask of the Mother Demon. It's S tier. Do I need to say anything? Like, really? It has poison coating when you equip it, so every weapon you use does poison to your enemies, and it has Poison Nova, which has a chance to do a poison cloud while you're attacking, which is a separate stack of poison which stacks. And it's just really good. It's one of the best in the game. It's medium armor, I believe, as well. So it gives you relatively good defense. And if you're not using it, what are you doing? Come on now. Come on now. It's just really good. Finally, in terms of the single pieces of armor for tier 3, we have the Termite Chestplate. I'm going to put this in B as well, I think. It has a good dust cloud effect, which isn't quite as good as the effect from the Mask of the Mother Demon. But it gives you decent defense. It's a medium piece of armor as well, and it also has dust guard, so when you're fighting the moths or the termites, it can guard against the dust attacks that they do. Oh, and the dust mites as well. It works against all 3 of those, so for that reason it's going to be B, because it's got pretty good utility for fighting a couple of enemies in the game, but it's not an amazing thing to use. Obviously there's no set bonus there or anything like that, so it's not perfect. Next we have the moth armor. I'm going to have to put this in C with all of the other ranged armors. I don't use ranged. I don't think I've actually used the moth armor. It's a light set of armor, you know. It gives you cut when you're doing ranged attacks. It also makes it so that when you shoot something, you can get a movement speed buff. But, I mean, it's that's not going to work running around the yard, because if you have Natural Explorer on, your Natural Explorer is going to get kicked off when you shoot something while running around the yard. So it's not exactly the most useful effect, you know what I mean? You'd have to actually kill the thing. I guess it'd be good if you're just running around and you're just boosting your speed by just one-shotting aphids and stuff. I can't see any use for it there. And the sleek bonus gives you a 5% chance to refund 15 stamina. 5%? Really? 1 in 20? Are you having a laugh here? C tier. Widow armor. Yeah, this is S tier. I hate to say it, it's only a light set of armor, and this is the only light set of armor I'm putting in S tier. It's amazing, okay? When you stack it with the Mask of the Mother Demon, and you use just the chestplate and leggings of the Widow, it's unbelievable. The parry poison, you poison everything when you parry. You've got the poison damage from the mask. It's just unbelievable. You have to use it. It's just the best armor, in my opinion. That's tier 3. Next, we have the Black Ox armor. I'm going to put this in B tier, I think. I can't see any reason to put it higher. This is really good for using charged attacks. If you have a full set, it increases your stun from charged attacks by 25 points. It has a quick charge effect for sleek, so if you fully upgrade it sleek, it'll charge up your charge attacks quicker. And it has an overbearing effect for the peace effect, which makes it so that performing a charge attack has a 33% chance to lower the damage of an enemy attack by 20% for 15 seconds. If you have the full set, I'm assuming each of these effects stacks, so maybe it's guaranteed, I'm not too sure. But this armor's alright if you're using the prod smacker and just doing charged attacks non-stop and stunning everything. That's all this is really good for. I haven't ever used this armor other than that, so I don't see a point. Next, we've got the assassin armor. I'm going to put this in C. I'm going to be honest. For some reason, even though this has the same defense as the Widow armor, it feels like I take way more damage when using it. I don't know why. Another reason this is going to go C, it's a crit set of armor. Just like the Black Ant armor, the biggest problem lies in how regularly you crit enemies in the game. Crits have a 20% chance to inflict bleed effect. Is the Cutman effect that you get, which is the peace effect for the armor. And the bonus, like, full set effect is called critical chain, which means performing a critical hit increases the chance of performing another by 2.5% for 10 seconds. That's not a lot of percent, bro. Like, it's just not... Critting isn't as good as it used to be, and it really shows, so this has to go C tier because it's a crit-focused set of armor. Fire Ant armor, I'm going to put this in A tier. This is a good set of armor. When you have a full set, you can do a little acid splash. You have to use the full set if you're using this. It does an acid splash. The sleek effect increases the acid damage of the acid splash. And the peace effect is corrosion, which makes enemies take more damage for 10 seconds, 15% more damage for 10 seconds. So this is a really good set of armor. I personally really like it if I'm not cheesing Schmector. If I'm trying to fight him properly, I'll use this set of armor, because if you didn't know, poison and bleed don't work against Schmector, but the acid from this armor set does, so it's actually really good against him. Next we have Roly-Poly armor. This is going to go in C tier. While this does have a really, really high defense, and it's a heavy set of armor, all of the effects from this armor are useless. The set bonus of this armor makes it so that enemies are more likely to attack you, which in single player is useless, and it also increases your block stun and block strength. They're pointless. If you're perfect blocking, your block strength doesn't matter at all. So this armor is good for defense, but useless in terms of any effects that it gives you, so it has to be C. Then we have the Antlion armor. This has to be an A tier, I think. Purely because it's really good for the sandbox, the charcoal area, for the Cortana recipe, if you're trying to get that. It's good for all of those things. So for that reason, it has to be an A tier set of armor. It can be really good. I don't really like the sleek effect of this armor, I'll be completely honest. And the set bonus is for bows, so it's not great in that sense. But just for its sizzle protection alone, I'm going to have to put it in A tier. Thank you for watching the video. Let me know if you change anything in the list, and if you agree or disagree, feel free to leave any comments down below with, you know, your favourite set of armor in the game and your least favourite set of armor in the game. I'd love to know. And I'll see you in the next Grounded video. Have a great rest of your day.